Going into the 2024 NFL offseason, could the San Francisco 49ers trade Deebo Samuel? We're talking about that on today's San Francisco 49ers Report. I'm Chase Sr., and as always, no matter where you are, how you're tuned in, we appreciate you for making today's show a part of your day. So many content options out there. That's why every time you come and hang out with us, we're very appreciative. First, though, before we begin, the offseason really gets underway on Monday. That's kind of when the new league year begins. That's the free agency tampering period. And every single move that the Niners make, with a lot of cap space that they now have at their disposal, we're going to break it down here on the show. So make sure you lock us in, hit that subscribe button as we approach 132,000 subscribers. Now, today's show is also sponsored by Manscaped. Join the 10 million men worldwide who have put their trust in the best men's grooming products. 20% off and free shipping. Manscaped.com/49ers and use the code 49ers20. So with this Deebo Samuel conversation here, he's really been disappointing since signing a 3-year, $71 million contract after the 2021 season, in which he was magical en route to being a first-team All-Pro. And I was just in Indianapolis this past week at the NFL Scouting Combine, and there was some combine buzz that maybe the Niners might be willing to part ways with Deebo as they enter a territory where they're a little bit cash-strapped, and they're going to have to make some difficult financial and roster decisions moving forward. What this comes down to is a real question that I guarantee you the Niners are having right now inside the walls at the facility in Santa Clara. Brandon Ayuk is due for a contract extension. Because the salary cap is increasing, and because he was a second-team All-Pro, his market could explode. We've already seen Mike Evans sign a 2-year deal worth $25 million per. Michael Pittman got franchise tagged by Indianapolis. He's going to come in at a rate of $21 million for 2024. Brandon Ayuk is better than Michael Pittman. Mike Evans is a little bit older. So Ayuk could demand about $25 million average annual value, and Deebo's making about $24 million. So can you pay two wideouts? Let's call it in the neighborhood of $50 million. As for the financial specifics and the components of Deebo's deal, as well as a trade or a cut, if he's cut post-June 1, the Niners absorb an $11.3 million dead cap charge. They save $17.2 million. If Deebo is traded after June 1, the Niners only inherit a $6.5 million dead cap charge, but then they save $22 million. So if a trade were to happen financially, it would make a lot of sense if it's after that June 1 designation. And the 2024 wide receiver draft class is absolutely loaded. And one of my takeaways from yesterday's show, in which we talked about the draft, was while in Indianapolis, the Niners were poking around. They were meeting formally with a lot of wide receivers, some of them who they might have to trade up for in the draft. Xavier Worthy, a Troy Franklin, a Brian Thomas. Now, some of those wide receivers could fall, and there are still going to be really, really good wide receivers available in the second round as well. But if you're looking for a Deebo replacement or an Ayuk replacement, I don't think the latter happens, the time to find one of those replacements for a cost-controlled asset that's an impact player would come in what is a deep and vast 2024 wide receiver class. Now, what the Niners could decide to do here, extend Brandon Ayuk at about $25 million per year. They bring back Juwan Jennings, who's a restricted free agent. You draft a wide receiver in the first or second round, and then you trade away Deebo Samuel, which helps you free up money right now, but also in the future. And would you like this wide receiver room for San Francisco in 2024, where Brandon Ayuk continues to be your wide receiver one, diverse route tree, vertical threat. He can run the crossers and the underneath and the out routes. He can do it all. And then you have the burner in Xavier Worthy, who set the record for the fastest 40-yard dash in the history of the Combine with the blazing 4.21. And then Juwan Jennings, is also a part of this conversation as well. If you bring him back and he's your slot wide receiver, the guy who you'll continue to go to on the money downs, third down, fourth down, who's always incredibly clutch and gives you a little bit of size at that wide receiver spot. Now, I'm just throwing Xavier Worthy out there as an example, but he did meet formally with the Niners in Indianapolis. He was very complimentary of Kyle Shanahan and his offense, as well as Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel. And he said that Kyle Shanahan's been in the building a lot because Shanahan played at Texas and has a relationship with head coach Steve Sarkisian. And Shanahan probably looks at this production like, wow, as a freshman, he had 12 touchdowns and almost 1,000 yards. Sophomore campaign dips a little bit. And then this past year, 75 grabs, more than 1,000 yards, and 5 touchdowns as he continued to be one of the more electrifying players in the college football ranks. And he can impact the game on special teams. And guess what? Ray McCloud is going to be a free agent. Now you look at Worthy's RAS score. This is a relative athletic score where these athletes at the combine and these prospects are judged on a scale of 1 to 10. And anything in green is elite. And when you have Xavier Worthy coming in at 9.37, that means that this guy is physically gifted. Now the red are concerns for me. It's a lack of size. He's only 5'11", and he's 165 pounds. That's about the same size as Deshaun Jackson, who Xavier Worthy said was his idol growing up. And they have similar games, although I think Worthy has an opportunity to be a little bit more well-rounded. But you look at the vertical, the broad, it's an explosive athlete right there, and then the 40-yard dash, a record-setting time. And had an opportunity to speak with Xavier Worthy from the NFL Scouting Combine. And he talked about Kyle Shanahan, his offense, him going to the Texas facility, as well as playing alongside potentially Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk.
Like just Kyle Shanahan, he's a mastermind with the plays. He's kind of been in the Texas facility a lot, so him and Sark are really good friends. So I feel like me going to that offense will be kind of a good situation. Right, I feel like all of them kind of play with like an attitude, play like they have something to prove, and I feel like I kind of fit in that also. I feel like just me playing how I play and just me bringing the speed element, I feel like it'll fit right.
Set the wide receiver room a little bit. Let's say they trade away Deebo, which then leads them to drafting Xavier Worthy. Who would you rather have on this football team for 2024? Is it X type XW? Is it Deebo type DS? I want to hear from all of you right now down in the comment section because, as always, we appreciate your feedback right here on the show. As I mentioned off the top, today's 49ers Report is sponsored by Manscaped. Get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com/49ers. Let's talk about the Lawnmower 5.0. We're talking about Deebo Samuel as a player who can literally do it all. Take some handoffs, go deep, run some crossers, bubble screens, jet sweeps. He's a multifaceted weapon. Well, the multifaceted weapon that I have in my bathroom is the Lawnmower 5.0. Interchangeable blades, a battery life that lasts an eternity, safeguard technology so you don't have to worry about getting cut up below the waist because you don't want to have any scary accidents in the bedroom. You just want to have pleasure when you're getting down with your significant other. And this is just a great product so that you can take care of yourself. Of course, if you change the blade heads as well, you can use the Lawnmower 5.0 on your chest, on your beard, on your back, really wherever you have hair. And for St. Patty's Day, they have some terrific deals. And St. Patty's Day is coming up. So you see that link at the bottom of your screen. It's manscaped.com/49ers. And then you see the promo code 49ers20. Use that link as well as that promo code. You get 20% off and free shipping on the best men's grooming products. Think about this. More than 10 million men worldwide have put their trust in Manscaped. And I love their products. I use them all the time. They become a staple in my hygiene as well as me just taking care of myself. Because you know the motto, look good, feel good, just like the Niners do in those scarlet, red, and gold uniforms. So we're going to put that link down below in the comment section as well as in the description of this video. It's manscaped.com/49ers, promo code 49ers20. Some more thoughts on a Deebo Samuel trade. Why trade him, right? It's, of course, a debatable conversation and one that'll have a lot of people fired up in the comments section. The Niners' record with him is far better than without him. But this would also be a long-term play here. And you think to the Super Bowl. did Deebo Samuel get exposed a little bit? And you think to when he struggled. Deebo has struggled to beat man coverage. That happened in the Super Bowl. Niners tried to force feed him. I wouldn't say he's great at tracking the deep ball. Xavier Worthy is. In fact, that's his specialty. And uncharacteristically, Deebo Samuel dropped a couple of footballs that could have been critical plays for the Niners in the Super Bowl. It was one bad game. He's not a bad player. As I've always said, he is incredibly unique, and he's one of one. But you think about Worthy and his inclusion on this Niners offense, he serves as a man coverage beater. You can't always play zone against a guy like Brandon Ayuk who could shake you out of your cleats at the line of scrimmage. And then Worthy, who just will jet past you. If you have to go man-on-man against Ayuk and Worthy, I like the Niners' chances of beating them. In a realistic world, and in a great world, I should say, you would have all three of them on this Niners team. But that contract extension is a little bit prohibitive for the Niners salary cap as we move ahead. And Deebo, he's already been injured throughout his career, started really in year 2. And you think about his playing style. He runs with brute force and physicality. He will run you over, run through you. That's why he's so fun to watch. But how does he age with this playing style in which he's always trying to layer the boom, and his game is predicated on picking up yards after the catch and after contact? I still think the Niners can contend this year while also freeing up money for the future if they do trade Deebo Samuel away. A lot of people say, well, learning curve for Xavier Worthy or another rookie for the purpose of this conversation. There's no doubt that that's a real thing, but you still have a loaded team, and you didn't win the Super Bowl with Deebo, so can you win it without him? I still think this Niners team, top to bottom, one of the most talented, if not the most talented, overall team in the National Football League. And the key component here, you free up some of that financial capital in the future because you have a Brandon Ayuk contract extension looming. You have a Brock Purdy contract extension on the horizon too if he continues to play really good football. I know a lot of fans like Talanoa Hufanga. He's entering the final year of his deal as well. He might be due for a contract extension. So too could Aaron Banks. It's an ever-evolving world when it comes down to contracts and money in the National Football League, and sometimes you have to make difficult decisions. And we round out with some of those difficult decisions. Remember the Mike Silver piece that we talked about last week that he put together in the San Francisco Chronicle? He's one of the more tapped-in reporters to the Niners. He's known Kyle Shanahan since he was a teenager. He covered John Lynch as a player, and he's a Bay Area guy. He's covered this team for a really, really long time. He said the Niners could be facing some difficult decisions moving forward with some key veterans. And what's key about this, the Niners have to look ahead at some of the players who might be good right now, but might be starting to show some signs of decline. And it's always great. It's always better in business. It's always better in football, in sports, to get out of that contract early as compared to late, because if you're paying damaged goods a lot of money, that holds you back as an organization. So put your general manager hat on. What should the Niners do with Deebo Samuel? T for trade, K for keep. Sound off with what you think.